Hello, Claudia Ricard here. Now, are you a perfectionist? So if you are, this is most definitely for you. And this is a Navajo metaphor. So I'm just going to read this to you. Some people say that the Navajo people of North America, who create the most beautiful and unique blankets, always weave a deliberate mistake into each one. It might be a slight imperfection in part of the pattern, or a single thread left sticking out near a corner, or a bead out of one place or in the wrong order. They do this to remind themselves that only God is allowed to be perfect. Interesting, isn't it? The Japanese have a similar philosophy called wabi-sabi. I'm not sure if I've said that right, but it doesn't matter because I'm not a perfectionist. They believe that perfection is boring and uninteresting, and it's the irregular and imperfect bowls that are the most highly valued and prized in their tea ceremonies. They also recognise three simple truths: that nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. Not even nature is perfect. Something that American nuclear scientist Richard Feynman explained to his students like this. I'm doing a really good job of not being perfect at the moment, aren't I? Why is nature so nearly symmetrical? Nobody has any idea why. The only thing we might suggest is something like this. There is a gate in Japan, a gate in Nikko, which is sometimes called by the Japanese the most beautiful gate in all Japan. It was built at a time when there was great influence from Chinese art. This gate is very elaborate with lots of gables and beautiful carving and lots of columns and dragon heads and princes carved into the pillars and so on. But when one looks closely, he sees that in the elaborate and complex design along one of the pillars, one of the small design elements is carved upside down. Otherwise, the thing is completely symmetrical. If one asks why this is, the story is, it is carved upside down so that the gods will not be jealous of the perfection of man. So they purposely put an error in there so that the gods would not be jealous and get angry with human beings. We might like to turn the idea around and think that the true explanation of the near symmetry of nature is this: that God made the laws only nearly symmetrical so that we should not be jealous of his perfection. Now, the 19th century Archbishop of York, William Magee, once said that the man who makes no mistakes does not usually make anything. And isn't that so true? If you think about it now, so many of the things that we rely on were the result of people who weren't afraid to make mistakes. Thomas Edison was once asked about his failures in creating the light bulb. His response was, "We now know 1,000 ways not to build a light bulb." Alexander Fleming accidentally contaminated one of his bacteria samples by leaving it by an open window. Instead of throwing away his ruined experiment, he looked more closely and discovered penicillin. Microwave ovens, post-it notes, the pacemaker, the potato chip, the list goes on. So, as James Joyce said, mistakes are the portals for discovery. Imperfection is interesting and being perfect, imperfect. No, I said that wrong. Mistakes are the portals for discovery. Imperfection is interesting and being perfectly imperfect could be wonderfully interesting, could it not? So there we go. Now, I often make mistakes with my clients who do have perfectionist issues. And I actually do it on purpose a lot of the time. And when I don't do it on purpose, they'll never know, will they? So all of those little mistakes, you'll never know if I did that on purpose or not, because I just said I do them on purpose sometimes. So there you go. Anyway, Here's to being imperfectly perfect. See you again soon. Bye.